left, right.
Well, here's something I didn't know about before this episode, and if you didn't, well, you're welcome. This episode is about the Bro Code, which not only is it an actual code, it's an actual book. So we're going to run through some of the higher points of the Bro Code, share it with you. Let me know what you think about these. Let me know what you think about the code, and if we missed anything, throw it in the comments. This is SipTalk. Grab a drink and enjoy.
Of course, let's go.
Cheers.
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 All right, that long pour means that we are live. This is SipTalk, episode 248. My name is Justin DiGiulio, joined by James, the Boswell, philosopher, philanthropist, philatelist, phlebotomist, arachnophobiast. How's it hanging down there in sunny South Carolina, James?
Finally got an AC that actually works, so it's much
dude.
nicer down here.
Yeah, you dropped a decent penny. You redid your whole home AC system, yeah?
I didn't do it. I paid somebody else to.
That's the pretty penny that comes along with getting it done. Today, we are going to be talking about the Bro Code, which is...
What is going on with my video?
Yeah, you are all over the place. I hope you guys were able to watch the video.
Hang on, let me...
Maybe unplug your camera, plug it back in.
I'm just going to leave and come back in.
All right, fair enough. We got James tweaking out here. We'll let him back in the room. But today we are talking about the Bro Code, which is not something I really wanted to talk about. I don't consider myself a bro. I don't consider it a great... something that you would look up to and want to be. So nor did I realize that the Bro Code was actually a real thing. And that was the news to me. And what we're going to do is we're going to enlighten your mind on what the Bro Code is, and we'll run you through a portion of the list. But the Bro Code actually comes from the TV show How I Met Your Mother. Okay, looks like he's back. All right, the Bosnator is back. What I was saying while you were off air was that the Bro Code is actually a real thing, and it is derived from the TV series How I Met Your Mother.
Have you watched that show?
Maybe. I'm not a big sitcom fan at all, so I may have seen snips and clips of episodes here and there, but it's not like one of those things. I don't understand evening television, especially sitcoms. Like, people just go sit on their sofa every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and watch a half hour of television.
That's how life used to be.
I mean, when I was like 14, there was literally nothing else to do. I didn't have a car. You only had 23 channels, or if you were lucky, you had 45 channels or something. By the way, most of those channels were not anything. If I'm not a fan of sitcoms, and I think sitcoms are pretty bad, most of the other shit that was going on the other channels was that much worse.
And I have a hard rule on TV where if a show has a laugh track, I will not watch it.
Does How I Met Your Mother have a laugh track? I would assume so.
I think so. I don't know if I've seen any episodes of that show. I don't think that the show originated the Bro Code. It just codified it.
Well, I think so. What I thought, it was just kind of this unspoken thing about how you're supposed to treat your close friends, which it is.
It is, yeah.
But it is also something materialistic, and there's a book about it. So I actually was like not interested in this topic whatsoever, because I was saying when you were off air that I don't consider myself a bro. I don't think it's a endearing term. I think it would be something that you would call somebody with like a backwards hat on the beach that sounds like he has an IQ of like 84. So
I know one of those people.
It doesn't sound like something that you would want to be. I use the term bro. What's the word I'm looking for? Not oxymoronically, but help me out here.
A lot of times it's used like sarcastically, it's like when someone tells you something that's ridiculous, like the first response, bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of used like, come on.
Exactly. So either way, we got a lot.
Exasperation.
We got a lot we got to get into today. You had a Reddit comment that we want to get into that has to do with some masculinity. We also have a comment from the last episode I want to get to in just a second. And we have to answer last week's bar trivia question. And I got a pretty good one, this one, which we will introduce towards the end of this episode. Don't forget, you can...
Oh, we're not going to go with my potatoes one?
I thought you gave the question last week, right?
Wasn't the question last week about the two moms and the two granddaughters?
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
so the two moms and two daughters?
Well, yeah, we'll get to the answer to that. Yeah, get to the answer for that one. Let's skip the potato one because I don't even know what that is.
This is the one I told you off air with you and Rosh, the 100 pounds of potatoes.
And remind me in the chat here. I want you to check your email. I want you to read this comment. Before we go there, though, you put me to a challenge 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, the running challenge. So my best
challenge
time
was, hold on, let's get there. The running challenge was in a 2-week period, who could get the lowest mile time, and your plan was to run every single day, right?
Which I've basically been doing.
So you were going to cut back on the booze a little bit.
Which I have.
I got a sparkling water. I don't know I've never seen this brand. I got a big cup of booze here, but with some melted ice because it's hot as hell in my house. I refuse to turn the AC on. But that's it. So
this is probably my one beer of the week.
All right. See, we're still drinking. We're just drinking responsibly. And then you're probably still going to go for a run. So let me.
I already did that
2 weeks ago. You went out for your first mile run. What was your time?
I started off at like a 7:45.
Which, by the way, for a couple of guys that don't run on a regular basis, that are almost 40 years old, not bad. All right.
I've been able to whittle it all the way down to about a 7:25. Since I didn't run on Tuesday and Wednesday is my rest day, today I did 2 miles and I did 2 in 16:40.
Okay. Well, did you, and what was your pace? Like 85%?
Yeah, I kind of screwed up the pacing, which is probably, I probably could have cut like 15 or 20 seconds off if I had paced myself better.
Did you find a track yet?
I've found a track. I haven't ran on it.
Okay. So, we can talk more about getting you to a track, the nice thing about a track is you can pace yourself a little bit better. You can check the time, know exactly where you are. That's helped me. I surprised myself. What was my first mile? 7:12?
Yeah.
And then I got down to 6:55. My second to most recent run was 6:54. And I was like, fuck, this might be a bit of a plateau. And then I ran last night and I sent you that text. I got 6:43. So I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, you win.
It's just a matter of keeping this up, though, because I think if you're going to keep up the pace of your training, you may surpass me and just leave me in the dust.
What I've found is that like doing this training of like the 1 mile a day with like a 1 rest day built in like per week, so basically 6 out of 7 days I run, is that I'm starting to feel some symptoms of overuse.
Well, that's my concern at this age. And also for the record, I said we didn't run much. Running, I think, is one of the best sports, one of the best workouts. I'm almost 240 pounds. Okay, that's a lot to be chugging along at a 7-minute mile pace. So if I can do it, you can do it. Maybe not 7 minutes, maybe not 6 minutes, maybe not 8 minutes. But if I'm out there at 240 pounds, the second heaviest I've been in my life, you can get out there and put together a jog. The thing about running is it sucks. And the better you get at it, it should suck just as much. because you need the constant. So the idea is, I hate running. I'm always out of breath and it hurts. It's like, that's the idea of running.
But Lance Armstrong talked about like cycling, and he says, it doesn't get easier. You just get faster.
You get faster, but it continues to be just as hard. Right. So I think people are waiting for it to get easy. And if you have not been running, you have not run, and you go up for a run and it fucking sucks. And
that means you're doing it right.
That means you're doing it right. That's how it should be. The thing is, you know what feels nice? Fucking Doritos, fucking ice cream. All right. Fucking drinking booze all the time. That feels nice. What doesn't feel nice is burning that shit off, and it hurts. But in my opinion, you have to have a life with a relationship to physical fitness, and physical fitness is often, for the most part, almost always tied to some form of pain.
I will tell you, as much as I hate the running, like physically, I'm feeling so much better even after just like 2 weeks or so. And like my heart rate, my heart rate metrics from my watch, which are pretty accurate, are like so much better. Like
Yeah,
I've got my sleeping, resting heart rate is now in the low 40s.
damn, it's pretty crazy.
Like
I don't wear the
my
heart rate
record
monitor
recently
in
is
my sleep.
42. I think my all-time record is like 37.
That's wild. All right, let's because we could talk quite a bit about running. It's both something that you and I love and hate.
Well, you know what? Let's transition real quick before we talk to the bro code. Like we're talking about running, and I think this is a good transition to the question of like why do men go it alone?
All right. So you just want to share the highlights of your post here?
I mean, yeah.
And I'm sure
It was
this
it
isn't
was from a
exclusive to
Twitter
men.
post.
This isn't exclusive to men, but I think it trends more manly. And God,
Um,
I fucking hate talking about like only men stuff just
Well,
for the sake of the podcast. I like really discussing kind of more controversial issues where we're kind of overstepping our boundaries. Here, we're very much in our place. And
yeah.
my fear is also we just get pigeonholed.
So what? Like,
But it is what it is. Like,
all right.
sorry, I'm a dude
Let me
talking
ask
about
you,
being a
how well
dude.
do you know women's issues?
Probably pretty decently compared to the spectrum of men's knowledge on women's issues.
Okay,
But I definitely know men's issues a hell of a lot better. So,
yeah.
you
So
know,
the question, like somebody asked to like Twitter, was like, why do men feel the need to go through things alone? And one of the responses was, my first girlfriend got the ick when I cried after learning that my childhood best friend had terminal cancer at age 21. And a response was, I doubt that was it, but okay.
first, I just want to say, if you want to see both of us, you need to be watching on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or Facebook. Just search Justin DiGiulio. So, is she saying that she doesn't think that's the real reason he cried, or the real reason that she got the ick?
I mean, the rest of the commentary is like, man shares an anecdote about a woman to answer the question. Another woman immediately proceeds to downplay his experience. And I think that whole interchange, that whole exchange shows why men choose to go it alone. Because when we don't go it alone, we feel like we are going to get punished for it in some way. And the rest of the Reddit thread is a bunch of men telling stories about times that they asked for help or showed some kind of vulnerability and weakness and got punished for it. Either their girlfriend breaking up with them or something else. And they're just like, this is why we go it alone, is because no one's going to punish us if we do.
Now, but that is also, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with going it alone, but I do think it takes a certain amount of strength to be able to manage that, because it can be a very lonely place. I also think there's some manhood that exists in going it alone. I mean, I understand where this guy's coming from. I understand why it sucks, and I understand it's a very real thing that, guys suddenly talk about their feelings, and then people are like, that's unmanly, or maybe that's not really what happened.
Here's one. This one's perfect.
You need a better example to try to get
My
me.
most recent girlfriend broke up with me because I started therapy. She said we were incompatible because she needed a rock for a partner. Plot twist: she's a therapist. So that I just look at it as like when men go outside of like their own outside of their own control and seek help from somebody else, oftentimes that's perceived as weakness. And that's a societal thing where people judge men for seeking help. And men would rather deal with something on their own instead of being judged. And I'm gonna even say further that I feel like women judge men harsher than men judge men.
Yeah, and I think that's a good segue into the bro code. But I would definitely say that women judge men a hell of a lot more than men judge men. I will agree with you. I will agree to you on that.
I also think that women judge women a whole lot more than men judge women.
Yeah, I also agree with you. At a much deeper level, also. Not that men don't judge women, but at a much deeper level, women are much more critical of other women. which is wild.
Like when
Because-
women talk about like, oh, I can't wear this outfit twice. No man has ever said, "Babe, you wore that outfit like 2 weeks ago. What are you doing wearing that again?"
I literally wear the same thing every day, and honestly, I think most people are like, "Oh, good for you. This guy's got it."
And I had a girlfriend that would get mad at me because I wore like the same basic thing out every single time, which is what I still wear. It's khakis and a track jacket because it just works 99% of the time.
Let's get into the. Let me hit this comment, and then we can get into.
I need to respond to Kay as well, but
All right,
probably
well,
off air.
All right. So listen, I got. Can you see the comment here? Because this also has to do with some masculinity. So our last podcast, episode 247, why are people giving up on dating? That's what we talked about for the episode. So this comment on YouTube says, and there's no name attached to it, but it says, life is better single? No. Too many options? Ha ha ha. No for me. It's that I, A, get no matches on dating apps, which makes me super resentful. B, don't go anywhere where I might meet women. I only go to work in a male-dominated workspace. 3, lack desirable qualities like confidence and ambition. I'm not interested in being masculine in a feminist society. And Roman numeral 4, I reject all my so-called responsibility as a man in a society where gender itself is seen as a social construct. So
there's a lot going on in that comment.
There's a lot going on in there. I get no matches on dating apps. Okay, which makes you resentful. Well,
that's natural, actually.
That's how dating apps work for men. Okay,
Yep.
But I would say that you probably need to bring in a third party, probably a woman, maybe one that you have struck out with, but you have respect for, and say, hey, I need some help here. All right, I need you to make me look more appealing online.
Yeah, online dating profile review can be helpful.
I mean, he could post his own dating profile review, although people could get really petty on something like Reddit. But, with the right motivation, saying, hey, I really need help, people may help him, but who knows? It's the internet, so people may tear him up. Does not go anywhere where you might meet women because you work in a male-dominated workspace, and you go to male-dominated spaces like airsoft, is in the parentheses here. I don't know what airsoft is. Is that like paintball?
Very similar.
That sounds like easier to get your eyes poked out or something.
Well, you wear a mask.
But also, how do you not go to places where you might meet women? Like literally almost everywhere you can go is arguably on average 50-50 split.
Disagree.
It's just a matter of being able to. Now, if your workplace is mostly men, okay, fine. But
No. I'm going to disagree with you on the whole precept there, because I am living this life where the things that I choose to do for hobbies, like, so I play in pool league, and if there's 150 people in the pool hall on league night, there might be like 20 or 30 women tops, and many of those women are either like way older because the age range for pool league skews older, or married. And of the women that are roughly in my dating range, like out of the 150 people there, I think I've seen like 2.5 that were like somewhat attractive.
And the one time when a woman walked up to you and handed you a napkin, you got mad and said, my beer's not even leaving a ring.
What?
And the napkin had her phone number on it.
No, that was me being autistic.
Here's my point, though, is if you are looking to meet women, you're going to need to expand the places that you go. You can't just look at the place that you go and saying, the problem is these places. No, the problem, if your goal, which yours may not be, but if your goal is to meet women, and I'm pretty sure actually that's not your main prerogative, but if this guy's saying he wants to meet women because he doesn't like being single, which is literally the first sentence, then you need to incorporate some places that you can go. And by the way, these are fucking public places you can go. Join a new club, learn a new hobby, which you suck at to start with, where you can incorporate the help of other people who 50-50 are women.
Hold on. All right. Here, I'm going to continue to argue with you on this one, because I just don't think that this is, like, while this advice sounds good on its face, it just isn't. Because if the things that women like to do and the clubs that like have more women in them are things that you are not interested in, and you're only going there because you're trying to meet women, you're not going to meet women and you're not going to enjoy yourself.
I think this person needs to expand their horizons irregardless. So
Because like I've had friends say like, "Oh, you should just go to a yoga class," and I have like a female friend that I like cycle with that she's like, "You should come to like one of my hot yoga classes." I'm like, "No."
No thanks. I don't want to go to yoga. Also, that's a
She's like, "Yeah, there's lots of women that I could
uh,
introduce you there." I'm like,
also
"Not fucking worth it, man."
lacks desirable qualities like confidence and ambition. Well,
That you can
okay.
work on.
This is, I think, the issue that the other issues stem from.
Yep.
Okay, the confidence being a big one. So, and I would say start with exercise, man. And there's a lot of exercise things that you can do which are co-ed. I'm not interested in being masculine in a feminist society. I don't necessarily think we live in a feminist society, but you don't.
That's a really loaded statement, which like, I think
It,
it shows some biases
but
and possibly some negative attitude that is going to color the way that you interpret otherwise neutral events.
but also you don't have to have fucking hair coming out of your forehead thinking that's masculine. But what's definitely emasculating, not necessarily feministic, but not having confidence and ambition. That's a
Those are two
recipe,
things that you can work on for yourself.
but that's a recipe for a bad life. So if you don't have
Yeah.
confidence, you don't have ambition, trying to find a girlfriend is probably not what your goal should be. It should be to build your confidence, explore some new hobbies, figure out some shit to do that's not shoot tiny paintballs at people because I don't know. That seems
Yeah, but I don't think it's
hobby
fair to
time.
just ask somebody to just like to do something they don't enjoy because it's going to give them a chance of meeting.
It sounds like this person doesn't enjoy life that much. So it sounds like they need to, if they don't have confidence and they're going through life not being very confident, it sounds like ordering, a meal at a restaurant might be a difficult thing. It sounds like this is somebody who needs to work on themselves. Okay, and many aspects of life are not going to be enjoyable until you can find some ambition, find some direction, and find some confidence.
Yeah,
I think a simple solution would maybe to do some get involved in some type of exercise, whether it's going to the gym or even if it's just going out for a run, because that would allow you to build your own confidence. Because running is something that, as long as you put in the time, it's way easy and pretty quick to get better at. That's
yeah. The downside of running is it sucks,
of course it sucks.
but yeah, you don't really need like all you do is you just go out and run. Like it's that simple.
It's literally
There's
like
not really like technique. There's
it's
nothing that
literally
you
like
really need to learn.
And by the way, if you get tired of running, you can always just turn it into a jog. Or if you're basically just jogging already, you can turn it into a walk.
Yeah, you start somewhere and you build, and it doesn't matter where you start, you can always build.
All right, we've gone too deep into not our topic. So let's circle back into our topic. Again, don't forget to, if you want to see both of us and interact with us, you got to watch on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch so you can see both of us. If you're watching on TikTok or Instagram, we're not monitoring your comments. We can't read your comments. Sorry about it, but we can't do all things. And if you want to buy us a drink or see any of our past 240 something episodes, visit SipTalkPodcast.com. All right, you want to hit the very top of the bro code list here.
Boy, it's not going to go in any order, but you know what? Since we're already on this topic, let's just talk about like wingmanning and women in the bro code.
So I actually resent the fact that any of this is codified. All right. I think it should be, I think it cheapens it. Okay. Because the idea of going out and wingmanning shouldn't be, I don't think it should be a thing. I don't think you should call your friend and be like, hey, I'm going to go out and be single today. Will you come and help me? I just think you should go out and just always have each other's backs. But here's the code here: wingmanning and women. Now this, even though the actor who portrays what's the character's name, Barry Stinson, even though the actor who portrays him, which his name will come to me in a second, is gay in real life. Okay, these, from what I'm picking up, this bro code kind of trends straight, which is fine with me because that's kind of the only way I would understand it anyways. Wingmanning women. You don't get in the way of a guy and his crush. So if your friend has a crush on somebody, you can't pursue that person.
Yep, she's off limits until he strikes out.
Until he strikes out.
Now, even if he strikes out, there's still kind of like a grace period where like you can't just like immediately horn in on her because like then it's just disrespectful.
Sure, but it also depends on how far he gets.
True.
If it's
And
just like a high at the bar, and she's like, "No, sorry, not interested."
no, that's different. But like if he's put in like a couple weeks of work and gotten nowhere, then like you need to be respectful and like give it some time to cool off. Now, the exception to this, and this is the same thing with like ex-girlfriends. Ex-girlfriends are always off limits unless you are given explicit permission.
Which is also it's a little tricky territory. There's a lot of fish in the sea, and going after somebody who is your close friend's ex-girlfriend is
I'll give a quick example here. About 3 years ago, I was dating a girl. I dated her for about 2 or 3 months. Things ended, and that was fine. I was fine with it. But I actually thought that she would be a really good match for one of my friends. And I was like, look, I know that I've dated her, and like, but if you want her number, I'll give it to you because I actually think that the two of you would be better off than her and I were.
I have. How long did you date this girl for?
Maybe 3 months, 4 months.
No, I've gone on like one or two dates, and I've thought like, oh, I should maybe hook you up with my friend. I think maybe that's a better fit. All right, next one is
Actually, here's another. Like, I want to kind of stick on this because like the women one are like all throughout this, but like if a bro's about to cheat on his wife or girlfriend, you get to intervene once. If he's sober enough to stand, look you in the eyes, and tells you to fuck off, your hands are clean. You tried.
well, I think you've skipped ahead a couple lines here, but yeah, if you know that your friend or bro, for the sake of this conversation, is about to make a bad decision, you have to attempt to stop them. Now, if they're sober and have their wits about them, and they say "fuck off," yeah, at least you did try. Now, the second side of the coin, though, is if he is so fucked up, can barely stand on his feet, you have to get him out of there before he does something stupid. And if you allow something stupid to happen, that is also on your hands.
Right? Yeah. If he's incapacitated in some way, then you need to take the responsibility there. Just
Uh,
like with women preventing their friend from going home, like when with a dude if she's super drunk.
yes, and not single. So
What is going on with my
I
camera?
don't know what's going on with your camera. So now this is one that maybe pertains to you a little bit more, but I actually like. I like this.
Hang on. You
You
go
said,
ahead and read like one or two while I reset.
all right. Uh, so I'm not a video game person. I know James is a big video game person, but I like this rule. And the rule is the person who owns the console is always player one. And I think I don't know much about video games, but I really do think that's how that should be. Let's see. Next rule here: fights. Try and talk your friend, your bro, out of a fight to the best of your ability. Don't let him draw you into the fight, especially if you don't want to be in it. Uh, you let a bro have his fight. You only step in if he has lost. Uh, all right. You let your bro have his fight. You only step in if he has lost and the other guy does not stop. Or if a third person enters that fight, or it somehow otherwise becomes unfair. So maybe your bro is in a fight, the other guy grabs some type of weapon. You may need to be like, yo, I'm stepping in. That's beyond. That's unfair.
Yep.
And the first one was, would you miss James? You try to talk him out of it the best of your ability. You don't get drawn into a fight you don't want to. But
Yeah, but there's been times where like you see the freight train coming, and at some point you just kind of like throw up your hands like I'm gonna get myself in trouble if I do anything more. You've made your bed, enjoy lying in it. You ever have that happen where you're trying to get a guy to like see some sense and he just wants nothing of it, and you're like, all right, fine, like this isn't gonna end well for you, but I don't say I didn't try to stop you.
listen, I see it all the time in business. The agents that I have the best of their interests. I will warn them and say, hey, this is, and I know what's going to happen. And sometimes people have to learn their own lesson. But it is important that you try. That's the important factor here, from your perspective, is that you do step in and do try. All right, you want to read this next one here?
If a bro needs help with something requiring manual labor or technical skill, you have to help, regardless whether you have that technical skill.
uh, You know what's happened to me for the last couple of months is I've seen people on the side of the road with a flat tire, and maybe one day in my life I probably will, but I feel compelled to stop. I'm like, oh, here's a person who needs help. I can do that pretty easily. I should stop. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this is not my fight. Like I probably shouldn't stop. There'll probably be more issues if I do in the world we're living in 2024, especially on the side of the highway where it's jam packed and everybody's doing 85 miles an hour. All right. All right. Here's a big one. Maybe you ladies probably don't understand because they like to go to the bathroom in packs, but
Which is something men never understood.
I literally I had to go to the. I was going to grab lunch with somebody last week. I was like, hey man, I'll meet you at the elevator. I just got to run to the bathroom. And he goes, oh, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom too. And I said,
This is not a group activity, man.
I said, you want to go? I'll wait. And he said, no, we're leaving. I said, yeah, okay. So then let me go. Give me a 45-second lead, or you can go and I'll give you a 45-second minute lead. I don't want to be sitting there next to each other taking a piss.
Yeah.
Either way,
I was at the pool hall a couple of weeks ago, and it's like one urinal and one stall. And like I walk in, and both are occupied. So I stand outside, and another guy comes up. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm waiting for this place to empty out." It's like I don't really feel like peeing is not a spectator sport.
Exactly. And also, it's at full occupancy. So all you need to do is wait for one person to step out.
Yeah.
So, but this rule, which I haven't actually fully read here, is always allow one space between the urinals in a bathroom. And I just think that that's kind of common sense. It's like a personal space issue. A lot of times you'll be at like a stadium or something where literally, or a rest stop off the highway where literally every single one is taken. Then you just take what's there. But if there's space,
No,
space.
if there are like 3 urinals and like urinals 1 and 3 are occupied and you need to pee, you must wait for either urinal 1 or urinal 3 to open. You cannot take urinal 2. Urinal 2 is off limits.
But if you're at a place where there's 20 urinals, this is a weird caveat to the rule here. If you're at a place where there's 20 urinals and they're all occupied, and one vacates, you step up to the one. Which is, did you ever go to like I think it was Fenway Park when we were younger, and they were just troughs?
Yeah. I mean, I would always just wait for a stall.
It's funny how things have changed.
Those still do exist.
I'm
somewhere.
sure. I mean, I'm sure they exist somewhere. I know I've seen them in Dominican Republic. I don't see them in the U.S. anymore. What's up next here? I'll let you hit that one.
Always respect your bro's vehicle, even if it's a beater. It's still their vehicle.
So, explain this one to me a little bit better.
I think the more general idea is that just respect your bro's belongings. So like simple things like when you get into the car, like taking your feet and knocking them to get like the gravel and stuff off, so you're not tracking.
I do that almost all the time. I feel like that no one else does that. I didn't realize you did that.
I do, yeah.
No one fucking does that. I do it in my own car. I do it in other people's cars.
But that's like in terms of respecting like your bro's vehicle. It's just like little things like that. It doesn't matter if it's a heap, like it's still their car.
Do you know we have one friend who has a couple of pets? He picked me up a few years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago. His car was disgusting. I was like, dude, I'm taking you to the car wash and getting your car wash for you. I don't know if that was disrespectful or not. I don't know exactly how that one fits in here. But I was like, dude, this is fucking. There's hair all over this car.
Sasha says throw in gas money if you're getting a ride that's like kind of outside the norm. So yeah, like chip in for gas if you like whenever possible.
Also, if you borrow the vehicle, you return it with a full tank of gas.
Yep.
Even if it didn't have a full tank of gas, your friend is not a rental car agency.
Well, okay? I would say you return it with more gas than it had in it, because like
at the very least, more gas than it had in it.
Because like if you get it and it's on like an eighth of a tank,
yeah, you're not filling it. Might be a little depending. Now, if you've had it for a week or something, probably you should return it full because that person's probably not going to remember they gave it to you on an eighth of a tank.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on like how long you had it. But like when I was down at your place 2 years ago, and like Scott drove me from Jersey up to Albany, like I filled the tank on the Cayenne. I didn't need to, but I was just like, you gave me a ride. I'm paying for your gas.
That's a decent sized tank too. I think it's at least 18.
Oh yeah, it cost me a bit, but like that's just what you do.
No, that's the right thing to do. Let's answer last week's bar trivia question. Because if somebody was not able to figure this one out, which I thought was pretty easy,
Yeah, it
I
was.
asked around, and some people just didn't get it.
Yeah. So the question is, 2 mothers and 2 daughters go out to brunch on Mother's Day. They each order 1 meal. At the end of the meal, they have consumed 3 portions altogether. How is this possible?
So I did this with a pizza and said they each had a slice of pizza, yet there was 5 slices that remained. As I told the story, only to add another layer of complexity. But the answer is was you have a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter. Now the grandmother and the mother, 2 mothers. The mother and the daughter, 2 daughters.
Yep, that's the answer.
That's the answer. There's only 3 people, so that's why they ate 3 slices of pizza or 3 meals, however you want to look at it.
Yep.
Interesting question. We got some more cool ones coming up. I spent a lot of time. I was in the car for like 5 hours the other day. I was just running through trivia questions, setting the ones aside I liked.
Real quick, Kay, my phone number is the same as it's always been.
Or you just message me and I will give it to you off air here. All right. Always leave one space. Respect bro's vehicle. If someone calls looking for your bro, the police, their spouse, anyone, you know nothing. However, you immediately call them to warn them. You are under no moral obligation to cover up cheating or criminal activity, but you should give your bro the benefit of the doubt. I think that's pretty reasonable. I mean, my concern would be like if somebody I knew murdered someone and the police called and I was like, yeah, I haven't seen him, haven't heard from him, then I called him immediately. But I don't necessarily know that would play out as.
That's kind of an extreme example.
I never know.
Like, but it's like as long as it's within any realm of plausible deniability, then you know nothing.
Okay, I got a really good story for this one. I love this story. It's been a long time since I reacted, but here's the line here. Here's the code. If your bro has no money, you have his back. Dinner, drinks, a place to stay, the shirt off your back, whatever the situation calls for. No expectation being paid back. You just look out for him and do not make him feel bad about it.
And you did that for me several years ago.
I didn't give you money. Did I buy you dinner?
No, but you gave me a place. You let me borrow your car and you let me stay at your place in New York City for a little bit when I was having a real rough week in Charleston.
You know, which is funny though. It was nice for me to have you here and just and kind of help you through your issues and just be there for you where you're going through these issues. It never occurred to me to like ask for something in return. I don't even think that would be a quantifiable thing. It's
but that's just how things work.
You have somebody who's going through something. Who you're close with, you're there for them.
Right. And like if the same thing were to happen to you and you needed to crash at my place for a little while, like I wouldn't ask anything of it.
Like 6 months, 10 months.
There are limits, but if it's like, hey man, I need to stay at your place for a week because some shit happened to be up in New York, I'd be like, yeah, I'll get the futon ready.
Well, I'll give you 2 examples. One is I had a friend whose house burned down about 2.5 years ago, and he called me at like 7 o'clock in the morning and was like, yo, my house burnt down. I'm in the hospital. It's just letting you know. It's crazy. And I didn't even know what to say. I got off the phone and I was like, damn, holy shit. Like, what do you do? And then I was like, oh, what the fuck am I doing? And I went into the room in my closet and grabbed a giant duffel bag. And I was like, all right, I think I got like some like unopened undershirts, some unopened underwear, probably like some brand new like sweatshirts or a hoodie or something. I got a brand new pair of shoes. I haven't even like I threw all this shit in the duffel bag, threw a bunch of shit in the car. I was like, yo, I'm out of here. I gotta go. But at first I was like, okay, how do you deal with this? And then it just hit me. I was like, oh fuck, I need to go be there and any way I can chip in.
Yeah, this guy now has nothing.
And then I got there. I was like, all right, dude. This and literally he was at his brother's house. I was like, yo, where is everybody? He's like, oh, this person. I was like, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. First things first, we're going fucking back to the house. And this may, like, it's still smoldering, by the way. It's still smoldering. It's only a few hours after they put the fire out. It's January or February, and it's like 20 degrees. So water is still dripping through the house. Black icicles are forming in the house. There's no roof. There's a hole through like 2 floors. Like you can just stand in the house and just look up, and there's like 8-foot hole in the middle of the house. I was like, here's what we're gonna do. One, we're gonna go try to find your wallet. Okay, see if there's a wallet there somewhere. If not, there's not. You know, you can borrow my card for whatever you need. And then also, we're gonna look for your fucking car keys, dude. Like, if there's a car key somewhere that we can fucking salvage, at least then you'll be able to drive your car. Like, let's fucking get our priorities. But that's not the one I thought of when I this bro code led with, if you borrow some money, you have his back, dinner, drink, etc. So there was one time I had gone out with a friend who had been out of a colleague from work who became a friend, who had been out of the country for a while, ran through all of his money out of the country, and had just come back. And we went out to like a Saturday afternoon dinner with a couple of other ladies from work. It wasn't really a date per se. I wouldn't think it was a date really in any way. But either way, it was 2 guys and 2 girls. Generally, in those scenarios, the guys pay. Now, I know this guy had been out of the country. I knew he ran through all his money. He worked for me, so I knew he had not made any money in a long time. He was literally out of the country for 6 months. So I slid my debit card to him under the table about 10 minutes before we kind of expected the check. So we kind of did like a last round of drinks or something. I slid my card under the table. Now, I thought there was a decent chance that this is where it gets funny. I thought there was a decent chance, since we were all work colleagues, everybody would chip in. Okay. So what happened was the bill comes and he goes, but you know, if everybody's expected to chip in, you'd want him to be able to like put a card down. The people on the other side of the table aren't going to be like, whose name is on that card? No, they're just going to assume everybody's paying. Well, what happened was the bill came, and he looked at the ladies. He goes, no, ladies, Justin and I got this. I was like, okay, well, all right. That was maybe the worst case scenario, so it's not that bad. I just thought it was really funny that he decided that I would have the entire meal, rather than run the risk of it being split 4 ways. All right, what's next here?
2 that kind of go together. One is like, always forgive a bro for doing stupid shit. Like, stupid shit comes with friendship. So like physical fights, dumbass mistakes, it doesn't matter. After it happens, like, it's forgotten and not talked about again. Exceptions for like grievous violations.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some pretty fucking crazy arguments with friends in the past.
I think about how many. I think on a weekly basis in high school, you would get into a physical fight with one of your best friends.
Yeah, but the way, and there's been other issues that have been like a big issue, like potentially like, and even some more recently, potentially like some things that you'd be like, all right, that's a relationship ender. But the thing is, then you have to say, how much do I value this relationship? And I've also had some relationships that I severed in the previous years. Some of them were actually, one in particular was really bad. And I said, all right, this person can't be my friend. But sometimes it gets to the point where like you don't even know where to start, where to open the conversation again. And I just usually just show up, like, hey,
yeah,
and it's just kind of, it has to be behind you, because
like,
it's like a disagreement. Like, you and I disagree often, and we just have to agree that it's not something we see eye to eye on, like politics stuff. Some people let that shit get so big it ruins relationships and friendships, and you can't expect that everyone that you're friends with, everyone of your relatives, you guys are going to see eye to eye on literally every issue. And if you run into an issue where you can't see eye to eye, it doesn't mean the relationship has to end. But literally, that's especially with like the way media discusses politics and things these days.
Well, it makes me think when I was coming up through the ranks in refereeing, I was watching an amateur soccer game in Newburgh, and it was between 2 teams with very skilled players, and it was a brutal game. Like, they were playing really hard. They were leaving nothing, like they didn't leave anything on the field. And like after the final whistle blew and like one team won, one team lost, like the players were in the parking lot, and I saw players from like opposing teams like chatting and like giving each other high fives and stuff. And I went to like the guy that one of the referees that was training me. And I was like, "What's this?" Like they were like almost about to have a fist fight on the field, and now they're chill. And he's like, "It's on the field. It's over."
And also, yeah, your calls as the ref and whatever was happening, it's over with and out of their control.
Well, this was just between the players. Like the referees had nothing to do with this. This was just the players in the parking lot talking to each
But
other.
it's over. The game's over.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give me a good example of this next one on the list.
Well, I'm going to steal this straight from the book that you linked me. So a bro is entitled to do stupid shit as long as the rest of his bros are also doing stupid shit.
Can you give me an example of this?
Motley Crue. Look at like the way 80s hair bands dressed.
I mean,
Like,
I told you a couple episodes ago that I've been watching like 80s rock during my workouts. I just put it on the TV in the basement and hit it.
Think about the way that 80s hair bands like dressed and like did their hair and everything, and tell me that isn't canonically stupid.
Yeah, but everybody else is doing it. I guess that's not a great example, I don't think. But
I think it is.
God, watching the thing is like before music videos really took over, some of these guys who were like upper echelon of rock stars were some dorky, goofy.
All right, I'll give you a better example. The TV show Jackass.
Fair enough. Yeah, they did a lot of stupid shit.
That was that was the entire premise of the show.
Yeah, no, it was fucking wild, that show. It's actually a good show. It's fucking terrible. It's terrible.
Like said,
and sorry,
bro's
if you're
entitled to
lady,
do stupid shit as long as the rest of his bros are also doing it. The TV show Jackass is the perfect example.
All right, next up here.
If a bro gets a dog, it must be at least as tall as his knee when fully grown.
I mean, the thing is, like, this is definitely like gender identity type.
Ashley says these examples are boys, not men. Well, fine, but
these Jackass guys were not boys. They were definitely like in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah. Kyle asks, "What is this?" Kyle, we're talking about the bro code.
Apparently, it's a thing. Apparently, it's codified. Apparently, there's a book. I just thought being respectful to your friends.
The thing about the dogs is just like, don't get like one of those like little like purse dogs if you're a man.
Again, this is definitely speaking from the perspective of straight men about straight men. A little teacup purse dog definitely seems pretty gay, in my opinion. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. I'm just saying you will be called gay if you're a dude by another dude if you get a little teacup pocketbook dog.
Next one, whether or not he cares about sports, a bro cares about sports.
So explain this one to me, because
I think it's just like, even if you don't care about sports, if you're in an environment where like sports, like you need to have like some base knowledge about sports, and like it's probably more about being in the moment of like, if you're at a sports bar, even if you don't care about sports, like you should care about sports in that moment just to not be a Debbie Downer.
I'm not a big sports guy, but look, I've been to a bunch of baseball games and I enjoy it. So I guess you just got to adopt. I think you remove the sports term and just you need to care about what the current topic is.
I guess you could just be, don't be a Debbie Downer.
All right. A bro shall not lollygag if he must be naked in the gym locker room. Basically meaning don't just hang out with your dick out. Like there's nothing wrong with being naked in a locker room. I know it's 2024 and everybody wants to go change their clothes in the bathroom stall or something, which to me is even grosser because there's a lot more piss on the floor in the bathroom stalls than there is in the regular locker room. I spent a lot of time in many gym locker rooms. It's a place where you're expected to be naked. We just got banned for some dumb shit that we said on TikTok. That's it.
Might as well just keep the streak alive.
Yeah. We got banned. All right. Well, sorry, TikTok.
Like perma-banned from TikTok?
I don't think it was permanent. It's in Spanish. It takes me a little while to digest the Spanish language. But point is, if you're in the locker room, you got to get naked. Get naked, put your clothes back on, get in the shower, get out of the shower, wrap a towel around yourself. But don't
be expeditious.
Don't be talking to other people, hanging out. You know.
Nobody wants to see that.
Exactly. Next up.
bros don't send each other other bros greeting cards.
Greeting cards, sure. And same thing goes with holiday cards. I just, I've gotten, business. I've gotten some business kind of relationship cards from people, thank you notes and things. I understand that a little bit more.
Business is different.
But like I have one close friend who likes to give cards, birthday cards. I'm not a, you're not, if you're another dude, you're not getting a birthday card from me. I'm sorry. Uh,
If a male friend of mine sent me a birthday card, I would open up and be like, "What the fuck?"
there better be fucking money in this. What? She's sending me the sentiment of
Yeah.
your $8 Hallmark card. Come on, man.
I like this next one. A bro will drop whatever he is doing to help his bro dump a chick. And it's more like just being there for a guy when he's breaking up with someone.
You're not helping him dump a chick, but it's helping him through a breakup process.
Yeah. Like a couple years ago when the Derv ended like a 6-year relationship, like he called me up and he's like, "Can you meet me at a bar?" And I was like, "Why?" He's like, and then he told me, I was like, and I was there in 15 minutes. And then for like the next like 3 or 4 days, I was at his place like every day, like just like even simple shit like buying Taco Bell because like he was just distraught about it. And
yeah, guys who break up with women also, it believe it or not, it could take a big toll on the guy. Like nobody wants to go through a breakup from either end. It's hard to pull up that Band-Aid, whether you are the one that wants to pull up the Band-Aid or not. If you're a good
well, and he was living with her, so it was a major disruption to his life. And so he was, I think, after about a week, he started to get some clarity. He's like, "Wait a second, I'm free." So
it definitely takes. I had a friend that went through a breakup, and they got in this huge argument in the middle of the night. He like called me up. I was like, "All right, dude, come on over. Like, let me open a bottle of scotch. Come on over."
Yeah, that's just what you do.
It's just what you got to do. If a bro spearheads the beer run, he is entitled to any excess money gathered for said beer run. So if you're running out to buy beer, you're going to grab 2 cases of beer, maybe 24 beers, and everybody chips in $5. And let's say there's 8 people. $40 is probably more than that beer cost. You can keep the change.
Because you're the one who ran the errand.
Exactly. Women can be bros if they obey the code. I'm fine with that. This is a long list, and there's a lot more. This book.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of time.
400 something pages. No cell phones on a belt clip. Yeah, that's just a bad look, and people still do it. It seems very strange to me.
In the bro code book, it says if you have kids, it's allowed, and my view is just no.
Listen, man, my pants, my shorts are always pretty tight. If I was going to do it, it would have to be very socially acceptable, which it is not.
Nope.
No chick flicks. Yeah, I like watching a chick flick, especially with another guy. There's another bro code about seeing movies, that you shall never see movies with a male friend one-on-one after 4:45 a day.
Yeah, because then it's a date.
Then it's a date, exactly.
Also, you are not allowed to split one large popcorn. You must buy 2 medium or small popcorns instead.
Or two
larges, son. Yeah,
that's acceptable too.
But you're not allowed to split one large popcorn.
Yeah.
You must each have your separate popcorn and drink.
Don't put your hand in shit that's in my lap, man. No, thank you. No, thank you. You might be able to get away with that actually if you get the large popcorn and you sit a seat spaced apart so you can keep the middle seat for all of your goods.
It's still dicey. I like this next one.
I haven't been to a movie in a long time, so
sunscreen must be self-applied or applied by a female.
Yeah, that's just how it needs to be. I don't want to be putting sunscreen on any dude body.
I would say that they're like the spray sunscreen. You can have a limited exception for getting like their back.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's no physical contact.
I will buy you a little more leeway there. Let's see. Next up, never disclose the number of women you have been with. I think that's a pretty fair thing. You don't want to make anybody feel bad, I guess.
Well,
guess.
it's just
I think a gentleman. What's the phrase? A gentleman
never tell.
doesn't tell. That's not the phrase, though. All right. What's the phrase? Don't kiss
A
and
lady
tell.
never asks, a gentleman never tells.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, always talk up a bro to his prospective romantic interest. I think that's a big one.
It's
That's a
going
big.
back to the original. It's like, be a good wingman.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this one.
Go ahead.
If a bro endeavors to give himself a nickname, the group shall instead call him by an adjacent but more demeaning nickname.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Oh man, nicknames are. Who self titles their own nickname?
But yeah. This makes me think I was reading a thread about military punishments, like creative military punishments, and
Yeah.
one of these ones is like a private is always late to like whatever meeting or whatever else. And so what the sergeant did is he went into an office, pulled off one of those wall clocks, like like a 12-inch face,
Mm-hmm.
got like an Ethernet cable and wrapped it around, and then made the private wear the wall clock with the Ethernet cable around like a giant fucking necklace.
Yeah.
And he made him wear it for a week, so that way he had no excuse to like not know what time it was.
Yeah.
And that private became known as Private Flava Flav.
It's terrible.
Another one, you'll like this one too. Another private was always leaving his ID at like the computer station when he was doing computer training. And like one thing in the military apparently is like you always have to have your ID with you wherever you go. This guy would always leave his ID, and the sergeant got sick of telling him like, stop forgetting your ID. So what he did is he took the private's ID, went to like a Kinko's, and then like had them blow it up to like a 3-foot wide billboard kind of thing. And then he cut out the face on the billboard and then made the private walk around for a day with his face through this giant
That's the
fucking
one way to
ID.
make somebody not forget it. All right, we got a couple more. Can we get through these? Hit
Yep.
the bar trivia question. Secrets go to the grave. I think that's good. And then you
Related.
delete browser history. Okay, optional clothing. Optional beaches apply to females. I got a funny story about that one.
Hold on, real quick. Let's hit Sasha's comment.
Read I can't see the comment.
Sasha says, take one for the team should be removed from the bro code. Having to chat up a swamp donkey just to give a bro time with her hot friend seems awful. No, that's
a crucial part of the list. You have to.
No, that's a grenade jumper, or that's called like getting through the offensive line. You got to get through the lead blockers.
All right, real quick. Passed out Sharpie rule. If their shoes are on, they're fair game. I don't like this at all. If their shoes are off, they're off limits. I don't like the Sharpie thing at all. But I'll say, okay, if their shoes are off, fine. They should be definitely off limits. Explain to me this first date lemon law.
Oh yeah. So, a bro has a 5-minute window to leave a first date with no explanation. Like it's the lemon law. It's like if you show up to a date and like let's say it's an online date and she doesn't look anything like the pictures on her profile or something like that, or you just get like some massive red flags or something in the first 5 minutes, you have permission to leave, but it's 5 minutes. You have to make that assessment.
Interesting. I don't know about that one. Right.
I'm not so sure about that one either.
I got our bar trivia, so we got 2 minutes left here. I got to hit this one. This is a cool one. You just got to think about it. Sid Shady, the notorious jewel thief, lay dead by the side of the tracks. He had been on a train westbound from Calgary to Vancouver. The train had passed by this spot an hour earlier, approximately 6:30 p.m. Shadow quickly examined the body, then slipped his sunglasses on and walked towards the sinking sun and the luggage that contained Shady's clothes. Further down the tracks, Shadow found another bag containing money and jewelry. Looks like Shadow was about to be robbed and jumped to escape, noted the officer. It's most obvious that our Mr. Shady did not leave the train voluntarily, if he was even alive when he left, stated Shadow. Why did Shadow feel this way? It's most obvious that Mr. Shadow did not leave the train voluntarily, if he was even alive when he left, stated Shadow. Why did Shadow feel this way? You got it?
Yep.
All right, cool. Just making sure wasn't delivered too fast I will hand out the answer to that one in our next episode. Don't forget to visit SipTalkPodcast.com to check out the bar trivia. That's where you will input your answer. And I think that's all we got. SipTalkPodcast.com. Buy us a drink. Let us know your thoughts on the bar trivia questions. And we will we'll see you next time. James, you want to hang out for a minute? I will tell you why your answer is incorrect. I may not give you the correct answer. Everybody else, I'll give you the answer next time. Adios.
All right, you made it all the way through the Bro Code episode. Well, that's it. Let me know if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out SipTalkPodcast.com. Answer the bar trivia, and we'll give you some props on air. Adios.
I like PBR. I just got priced out of it.